Hi girlies, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is a DFYNE review of their new Origin collection. Everything again is already live, available to shop, but as always, code Bailey, it saves you 10% off with DFYNE. Not only does it save you money, but it helps support me and keep these reviews coming. So truly, if you use my code, it means the absolute world, especially as like an affiliate. Like again, I know I can't review before it drops, and like we're kind of given very little launch info, so y'all choosing to still support and use my code again means the absolute world. That's why I do my monthly giveaways, as a way to say thank you and express how truly grateful I am for y'all. But let's just get into this quick review. So we have two new colors and then black and white in the Origin. So the only new one is Thunder and Mauve, which technically have dropped before with like the tanks. The flares have dropped before, but this was the first time the flares dropped in a tall inseam. So I hadn't tried them because I know, like, as I'm 5'4", so I'm not even that tall, but DFYNE's inseams are quite short, so I just knew I wasn't gonna like the normal inseam, so I didn't snag. I wanted to wait, knowing, because people were saying that the tall inseam was gonna come later, so I was like, I'm just gonna wait. And I'm glad I did, because their tall went on feels more like a regular, comparing it to like a Buff Bunny inseams. So, and I like mine to hit the floor. I don't like it to like hit higher up like on my shoe. I don't know why. Preferences are very different, but that's my preference. I like it to be longer. I don't like it to be on the shorter side, so I went with the tall inseam. They have extra small through extra large, and I did size down, and I would recommend sizing down. I know some of my other girls sized down and are happy they did. I feel like some of the feedback was saying to size up, and I don't agree with that, because even my extra small feels like an extra small, and the waist has literally, like, is just sitting there. So had I done my true size, I would be pulling up the waistband every time I moved. And that was one thing I did not like with the Hannah Pearson ones. I did extra small in hers, and again, that was like the main issue. It was, while tight everywhere else, the waist was so big that when I bent and moved, I was like the waistband was constantly being pulled down. So I was like, I do not want that to happen again in these, so I did size down. I'm glad I did, because to me they fit like an extra small, not an extra small, and they're less compressive even in the quad area than the Hannah Pearson ones. So I would definitely say, if in between or don't want the waistband to be pulled down 24/7, I would size down, honestly. I'm very glad I did. They also got rid of the top seam that was in the Origin leggings. They got rid of it in the flares. Thank goodness. You guys know I hate a top seam, so I'm very happy that they got rid of that. It makes me like them more. However, I like the glute seam measurements much better on the Hannah Pearson flares as a short glute girly than the Origin. However, I like the Origin fabric 20 times more than the Hannah Pearson ones. I don't like this fabric at all. It's slick. It reminds me of like those leggings on the racks you can get at like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, like that fabric. But I think it was much more short glute friendly than these. The glute seam, while I'm not a fan of it, because I do prefer a shorter glute seam like the Hannah Pearson ones, I understand the importance of having different glute seams, because for the Hannah Pearson ones, if you have longer glutes, the seam probably hit way too low on your glute, kind of like chopping your top glute in half. Whereas this one will, if you have longer glutes, will hit right at the top. So this is definitely better for the average glute height, longer glute height gal. However, if you do have short glutes, you'll probably prefer the glute seam of the Hannah Pearson ones than these, because this does go up my back. For that reason alone, I don't think I would snag anymore, but keep in mind I do have abnormally short glutes. I know one of my Discord girls got them, and she loved the glute seam. It hit her at a good spot. I just have insanely short booty cheeks, unfortunately, so if it's not a super short one, it just goes up my back. Neither one of these are scrunch, but like the glute seam is like half an inch higher, and then the V seam, as you can tell, is much higher. So that little bit of difference really does make a difference when on, especially if you have short glutes. But again, most people, like the average glute height, definitely would be fine with this. And again, I like that we have different options. Now it's the same as Origin leggings. So if you liked the Origin leggings, stick to the same size as that. It'll look the same, has the same back seam. There is no top seam on these. So I do like the fit of them much better. They are still very comfortable and I still will be wearing them to lounge in. I do like that the leg, it's a flare, but it's almost like an in-between of a flare and a honor straight leg, because it's much wider than like a Buff Bunny flare, and I feel like it kind of like comes out right at the knee, whereas some, like for Buff Bunny, sometimes it's a little tight on the calf and then it goes out. So I think the girlies that don't like any tightness in the calf area will definitely like these flares. And they're very, very comfortable. Origin is a soft brushed fabric. If you've tried any of White Fox activewear, it's the same material as that. So the composition is 71% nylon, 29% elastane. So again, a very soft brush fabric. I would say thickness is kind of the same as like Buff Bunny butter. However, I feel like this is a little less pill prone than Buff Bunny butter. Buff Bunny butter is a little bit silkier of a feel than this. This is much more soft brush, kind of like Newbury. I really like the fabric. I just, again, wish it did have a little bit shorter of a glute seam. And again, the waistband is big. Like, even in the extra small, there is no snatching happening. But it's a little bit better. I don't have to pull it up as much. And now that it doesn't have the top seam, it's not like it's gonna cut in weird. But yeah, tall inseam. I would definitely recommend a 5'4" and up to get the tall inseam, especially if you want to size down. Again, there is no scrunch. It's just a simple flare. Has no front seam. It's mid-rise, so I do like that. It's got the white logo right here and on the back. This is the color mauve, and it's almost like an in-between of DFYNE's truffle and grape. It's a purpley brown. The shade is beautiful. I definitely think you could pair this with grape or truffle and it would look really well. Definitely leans more purple than truffle, but it's a little bit lighter, I would say, than grape. Love this color. I think it is absolutely beautiful. I hope we get more pieces in it. Again, comes in 3 colors, the Thunder Mauve and then Midnight Black. These are $69, but again, code Bailey saves you 10% off. I only got mauve, no thunder. So here are the Origin flares. I did extra small, tall. And I can't believe that some people were suggesting to size up personally, because I sized down and this fits like an extra small. There was literally no tummy control. Had I done my normal size, these would have been too big to the point where I would have to keep pulling them up every time I moved. Very similar to how the Hannah Pearson flares are. In my opinion, these run big, but obviously if you like a low compression, looser moment, you'd be fine staying to your normal size, but you are probably going to have to pull up the waist a lot, and I don't like doing that. If I have to keep pulling up the waistband, I'm probably not going to wear it, so I am glad I sized down. I'm also glad I did the tall inseam, because in my opinion, DFYNE's tall is more like a Buff Bunny regular, so I don't think I would have liked where the regular inseam hit. Tall is much better, but I am 5'4", so keep in mind, like, if you all are a taller gal, that even the tall inseam could potentially be like on the shorter side, because DFYNE's inseams aren't really that long. I like this fabric so much more than the Hannah Pearson flares. The Hannah Pearson flares, again, I didn't like the fabric at all. It was slick, it felt cheap. This feels much better. I like the Origin fabric, especially for like a comfortable bottom. I definitely can see them eventually doing this fabric in the straight legs as well. They're much looser, especially compared to like a Buff Bunny flare. Buff Bunny flares usually don't start coming out until like the calf area. This comes out right at the knee, whereas like a straight leg would come out right here. So I feel like it's kind of like an in-between of like a flare and a straight leg, which I think most people would probably prefer, because I know a lot of people like the complaints with Buff Bunnies or it's tight around the calf area. You're not gonna have that issue at all in these. Again, no front seam, it's mid-rise, no tummy control whatsoever. The waistband, in my opinion, is too big. Like the fact that this is an extra small and it's loose, I feel like the sizing is off. And then the glute seam is also higher. I personally don't love these because of the glute seam. It's too high. Whereas like DFYNE normally has short glute seams, so I wasn't expecting it to be this high. I guess like I understand for the girlies that don't have short glutes, that they probably prefer this V-seam over one like Hannah Pearson one. The Hannah Pearson one is definitely more short glute friendly with that V-seam than these. I don't think I would buy any more for the glute seam alone. I just don't love it. I don't think it's as flattering. As you can see, like this V-seam is up my back, whereas my glutes stop right here. So the Hannah Pearson ones are definitely more short glute friendly. I just don't like the fabric on those. I like the fabric much better on these. There is no scrunch. Again, it's a normal glute seam, but it is more for longer glute gals. So for that alone, I don't think I would buy any more. It's just too high. They also have the leggings dropping and the shorts, and I believe the top seam was removed for both of them, but overall measurements and fabric is the exact same, just no longer the top seam, mid-rise. Again, a longer glute seam, soft brush fabric, lower compression. And I do feel like these leggings, like the older ones, I didn't get any new ones, so I can't confirm, but these fit much more compressive than the flares. I don't know if that's still true, but for me, the flares, these are an extra small, these are an extra small, and these are snug. Could be because of the top seam maybe, but these definitely feel lower compression than the leggings. Again, they have the 4.5-inch shorts, which I did not snag. I knew I was not gonna like that. That is not my cup of tea at all. If I'm gonna do something that short, I want it to be impact. And yeah, so I just knew that was not gonna be my vibe, so I didn't want to snag. So we got the Origin long sleeve V-neck top, which was $59. I got this in mauve to go with the flares. I did extra small, and I'm glad I sized down as an IBTC girly and a narrow chest girly. I think extra small, I would have gotten, like it would have been wider than I like, and then maybe gaping in the sleeve area. It has a built-in shelf liner with removable cups, but only in the front. Like the elastic band isn't in the back, which is good because then you have a smoother back. However, I just like the feel of, and I feel like it stays in place better when it goes all the way around, whereas when it's in the front, when you move and stuff like that, that band I feel like just slides more, whereas if it went in the back as well, it would stay put and lay flat a little bit better. But that's just like very like minor things. But I am, again, glad I sized down. I feel like it helps this lay flat better, and I get less gaping. It's more narrow chest friendly. It's got this wrap design, again, removable cups, long sleeves. The sleeves are a really good length. They stay put. There's no thumb holes or anything. And then it's got the logo right here, which I wish wasn't there, or at least tonal, because I feel like this white logo on like the fabric just makes it look more activewear versus lifestyle. And if it were tonal, it would be easier to wear to the gym, but also to the bars or for brunch or a casual outfit. Like, so I just wish they would make, maybe like, okay, fine the back, but make the front logos, either get rid of them or make them tonal. Yeah, this is much more narrow chest friendly than a lot of the other Origin tops. It's meet and greet length, so hits right at the top. Definitely say true to size. If smaller chested, you could probably size down, especially if you want a more snatching fit. Larger chested, stay true to size. I don't feel like you need to size up though, personally. Reminds me of Crop Shop Boutique, like all of these tops do, and I love Crop Shop Boutique, so I really like these. I definitely want to go back for probably the black and white, just because those are core colors, and I can definitely see myself getting a lot of use out of these. Again, even just wearing casually. Origin fabric does show sweat, so if you work out in these tops, you will see armpit sweat most likely. And then again, this is the back. Seam down here, but also again, the thick elastic band. All right, so here is the long sleeve. And again, I like to size down in most of DFYNE's tops. It's got the built-in shelf bra, removable cup, but it is more narrow chest friendly. It's still wider, but it's much more narrow chest friendly than a lot of the other Origin tops, the Origin tank that has dropped. So I do appreciate that. I feel like it's much more narrow chest friendly. You're not gonna get as much gaping as in that, or puckering right here. Does lay flat for the most part right here, which I do like. It's got the built-in shelf bra, but only in the front, which does help for a smoother back. I will definitely be wearing this more lifestyle. Sleeves are snug, but again, I did size down to extra small, and I'm fine with it. I feel like it's very comfortable, very fitted. It's a meet and greet length, so not at hip bones, kind of like at the top of the waistband. And then it's got the wrap front with darts for added structure. Very cute, very flattering on the chest. Good for lifestyle or working out. Origin fabric does show sweat though, so I can definitely see you getting armpit sweat in this when working out. but that personally doesn't bother me. And then we have the Origin halter top, and this is 5250, and I got it in the color Thunder, which is kind of like a bluer slate. It's definitely a bluish gray. It's a pretty color, but it's not one of my favorites. I definitely think I like, in terms of like blues like this, the Hannah Pearson blue better. Also, just for some reason, I feel like this is gonna be harder for me to mix and match than the other colors. Like, something about this type of bluish gray, it's always hard for me to find color combos. So I only got this color in the top. I did extra small. Necks usually irritate you. I wouldn't size down if they do. But again, if you're larger chested or neck straps irritate you, guys definitely wouldn't size down. Removable cups, no built-in shelf bra, just has the bottom seam down here. So still lower support. And then I love that it's a halter. This is very CSB coated as well. Meet and greet length, again, the soft brushed fabric. It's a thicker neck strap. Here is the halter. So I did extra small, and the width, like, it's a wider top for sure, but sizing down, like, it's laying flat. I still feel good. However, the neck is so tight, so I want to size up for the neck, but then I definitely know this would be too wide. And then this seam down here is a little snug. I know that, like, if I do extra small, I feel like it's gonna be too wide. Like, I just wish they would bring this in a little bit more. That way I could stay true to size, since the neck area is so tight. So I love the way it looks. It's very flattering on the chest. It snatches. I love this fabric. However, the neck is not comfortable whatsoever. So I don't know. I do want to go back for more because it is a very flattering top. It's just not comfortable in the size that works for my chest. So definitely a tighter halter neck. V neckline with the wrap design. Seam down here, which is a little snug. Removable cups, and then it hits a little bit longer than meet and greet, but it's not quite at hip bones. Like, it's definitely higher than hip bone length. They halter neck, so I love that. I always love a good halter, but I will say this halter is uncomfortable. Very soft brush feel, which does show sweat, but this is definitely more for like lifestyle lounge, yoga, Pilates, lower intense workout. When I size down, it is narrow chest friendly. Like, I'm not getting any gaping, no slippage, but again, it is still wider. So that's why I'm like, I know if I do my true size, I'm probably gonna get like nip slip, or it's just gonna feel too wide to comfortably wear. And then I got it in the halter, and I just got black, a nice core color. I realized I don't have that many black bras. This is a need, and I love this. This is definitely my favorite Origin bra. I love the back. It's so itty bitty. I love that it goes into like the thicker strap and then the thin strap. And again, it's a halter neck. I will always gravitate to a halter, especially for upper body days. So I really like this. I would go back for more. I'm glad I sized down. The neck, again, is a little snug. Neck, like halter straps normally irritate you, don't size down. But sizing down made it more narrow chest friendly. And again, it's got the wrap detail, not really twist, it's like a wrap, and it's not sewn together. Removable cups, and then just a thin seam down here. So again, more IBTC, lower support, but I feel like in terms of some of their other halters, this does have a little bit more coverage, especially side boob coverage, than some of the other ones. And again, it's a soft brushed fabric. The white DFYNE logo. Would definitely buy more. All right, so here's the Origin halter bra. It's like a wrap design, and it's not sewn together. It's definitely more narrow chest friendly than a lot of the Origin bras are, so I actually really like this one. Granted, keep in mind I did size down. I think had I done my true size, it would have been even wider. If you're larger up top or wider chested, don't size down. You've got the DFYNE logo down here. Again, Origin fabric, so soft brushed feel. And then I love the back. This might be one of my favorite Origin bras just because of how dainty it is. Thicker right here, and then goes into this little itty bitty strap. And then the same with the neck. I love anything that shows off the back gains. I definitely would buy more of this. I feel once sizing down in place, nothing's coming out. I feel very secure. I feel like it's narrow chest friendly. I feel like it would also be wide chest friendly because like they're like, it's not uncomfortable in my armpit, but it's also not like really narrow to where if you're wider chested, you're gonna have like spillage. But it's just a thin seam down here. So again, lower support, definitely more for IBTC. But I really like this one. This one honestly might be one of my favorite tops from the drop, which is surprising. I want to go back for more. I feel like the structure is really nice. I feel in place. That is everything for this really quick review. The Halter bra is $45, and then again 10% off with code Bailey. Yeah, only 4 colors. It was a smaller drop. All the tops were new, but again, we've seen the flares before. We just now have a tall inseam. I have the link to shop down below. Code Bailey saves you 10% off and counts as an entry to my monthly giveaway. If you use my code, please let me know so I can personally say thank you. If you have any questions on the Origin collection, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.